welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and today I'm getting to sit with my friend Gabby Bach. Gabby, what's up, man?
Hi, Corey. How are you?
Amazing. I feel a little tongue-tied. We haven't done this in a couple months, so it always takes a little bit of like greasing of the tongue there to get us back into the conversation.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of live episodes recently, so it's weird getting like back behind the screen and sort of doing things virtually again.
How was that? Like we did a couple live events we did a couple live talks at Premiere. How was that for you?
It was fun, yeah, because it was my first premiere. And we did some at ABS as well. And it was fun to get to like be in the moment and like in the room with people. And I think all the conversations we had went really, really well. There were some great episodes, so I definitely recommend everyone check them out. I think I liked being in the press room because it was quieter and I think it was easier to concentrate. I think if we'd been on the floor, at least for like my first time doing that, especially my first time at Premiere, there would have been, because there was a lot going on at Premiere. There was so many people everywhere. I don't know how it would have went. So I think it was nice to sort of be in like an isolated space and just get to chat with people. And I think the conversations went really well. And some exciting stuff came from it, which we'll talk about at a later date.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. It's kind of crazy actually, because it's definitely like, for us hairdressers who are ADD, it's definitely when you sit down and do a podcast, it's definitely a practice into that, right? Like you've got to like stay really focused on the mic because there's so much going on all the time. Certainly there's lots of noise and stuff. It's I normally like to have my like face towards the, like if you ever go to a restaurant with me, I usually position myself. I think it's a guy thing, by the way. I kind of position myself like being able to see the door. You know what I mean? But when I'm in the press room or when we do the hair shows, I kind of like to have my back to the door because otherwise it's very distracting, and then you have a hard enough time staying on track.
Yeah, and you see people walking by, and you're like, "Oh, that's someone I recognize," and it just like catches your attention.
Yeah, it takes you out of the moment for just a second.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but other than that, I absolutely love the live contest, the live conversations. It's just, they're just, for whatever reason, they just feel different. But we're here now, and we get to record one today. I'm actually been excited about this one because I'm kind of thinking we were supposed to do this, not supposed to in a way other than to say that we've had a relationship with this brand for a few months now, and they were proud participants at Presley Poe and Friends. So pretty stoked to have them and to be able to have this conversation.
Yeah, and Presley Poe and Friends was super fun. That's where I got this snazzy Hairdustry hat.
You got me in trouble already because my guests are asking for one.
Sporting it. Yes, you're gonna have to start. You're gonna have to order more. You're gonna have to do a restock because the people are gonna want the hat. Anyway, but yeah, Presley Poe and Friends was super fun. It was my first time there. And I can't believe like that was end of April and it's now August. Like that's crazy how time flies. But it was a super fun event. And I'm so glad I got to go. So thank you for inviting me. And I'm going to bring in our guest who was at Presley Poe and Friends on behalf of Bounce Curl. Please welcome Yasmin.
Hey guys.
What's up, Yasmin?
Hey. Hey Corey. Hey Gabby.
It's really cool to see you, man. It was like, because we haven't been in the room together since Presley Poe and Friends, right? Like Gabby said, like we're like months now.
Yeah. I know. We've talked a little bit, which has been great, but I know the time has just flied by. It's crazy. And scheduling is, always tough for hairdressers too. I've been super busy, but yeah, it was an amazing event. So I'm a hairdresser. I'm an educator for Bounce Curl as well. It was also my first time at Presley Poe, and I was blown away by the event. Just the sense of community there. Like you said, I was super proud to be there representing Bounce Curl, and I'm really, really happy that, we can now call ourselves a part of the Hairdustry and Presley Poe community. So yeah, it was really, really special, and it's been so great to get to know you guys as well and be connected. So.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, man. It was great having you guys there. I'm glad you could experience it. Like we literally changed the name. So here, this is breaking news. We actually changed it from Presley Poe and Friends to the Presley Poe and Friends Experience because it's more about the experience, and it's so hard. Like, I mean, Yasmin, even like the way that we chatted about it, late last year, about like, it's just an experience. Like you've got to experience it to experience it, So, it makes it it makes it kind of difficult to sell, from us. So we're hoping that maybe a little bit of a rebrand will help sell it a little bit more.
No, I felt that, but yeah, I've felt that definitely too when I was like writing the post event recap, which we posted to Beauty Launchpad, is I was like, how do I articulate what this is, because it is such a community and it's people coming together and there's education, but there's like the sense of togetherness too, and it's like unlike anything else that I feel like is in the industry. So I'm excited about that rebrand. I think it's going to be a good fit.
Totally agree. It is an experience. And I know that you guys and Presley Poe asked me as well, like, how would you describe this, to other brands or other hairdressers? And it is hard to explain unless, you're there experiencing it. I think there was some really good like footage and video that kind of captured it. I think you guys did the interviews really well. But yes, I'm definitely excited for more of our team to experience it as well. So yeah, experience. I love that. That's awesome.
When is the next one?
It's April 25th, April 26th. That voice that you hear there, that's Miss Merian, and she is the founder of Bounce Curl. And we're going to get into, we'll get with her in a sec because I have so many questions. It's not too often that we actually get the founders of a product company on. So I've got so many questions about like what that process is and how you start off with a dream and then you kind of like you build something around just the words or the thoughts and stuff. So I'm excited to get into that. I don't know. Do we just start? What do you think, Gab?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
You want me to kick it off?
Yeah. Bring Merian in.
Yeah. All right, Merian. It's very lovely to be chatting with you. I think to kick us off, do you maybe want to talk a little bit about sort of how you got your start in the hair industry and maybe like what inspired you to launch Bounce Curl?
Yes, definitely. So hi, everybody. My name is Merian. I am the formulating scientist and founder behind Bounce Curl. And this is our 10th year being in business. We've been D2C for about 10 years, and we've also been kind of dabbling into the salon space and really trying to grow that area. We do have plans for retail next year. We don't have the can't say the name just yet, but hopefully it'll be a great launch. And yeah, I started Bounce Curl in 2015. Prior to that, I was in the lab cooking up products about 2 to 3 years before that. And it all started with my pre-dental journey. So I was in school to be a dentist, and I worked in as a dental assistant, and lots and lots of chemistry, lots of science, lots of biology. And as I was taking my dental admissions exam, which is kind of like the MCAT when you go into medical school, as I was taking it, I was like, wow, this is really, really difficult. I better have a plan A, plan B, plan C. What would I like to do with my degree and all the science that I've learned? What would I like to do with it? And my second option was create products. I've always had this amazing long curly hair that everybody always loved. And I said, okay, let me do plan B. Let me stay in school and let me create Bounce Curl. And that's when I created my first Light Holds Cream Gel. This is when social media was brand new. Instagram was brand new. We were switching from Facebook to Instagram. And algorithms didn't really exist back then. It's kind of like if you post at 8 o'clock, everybody's going to see your post at 8 o'clock. And so we started posting. We sold out of our Light Holds Cream Gel within 2 weeks. And when we did that, I was like, wow, like I've been studying to be a dentist for about 6 years now. What am I going to do? Am I going to chase my dreams with Bounce Curl, or am I going to continue going to dental school? I've worked so hard, 6 years. Like, how could I just throw that in the drain, So I continued going to school, and then I had my second launch. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing when I launched Bounce Curl. No business experience. I was doing it from my house, at my grandma's house. I was living with my grandma. I was a student. I was like 22 years old. Then I was like, okay, I ran out of inventory for a long time. It was like 6 months. I wish I would have known, but I also didn't have the money to get more inventory. So then as soon as I got my second inventory, that's when we sold out again. And this time I had a lot more. I had about like 10,000 units, and we sold out again. And I was like, okay, all right, this has sealed the deal. I'm going to have to chase Bounce Curl. I'll put school on pause. So that's exactly what I did. We came out with hair creams after that, shampoos, and then that was the timeline. And then the latest launch is our patented Define Edge Lift Brush series. Wow, let me tell you guys, that brush has drove me crazy. It went mega viral. I had absolutely no idea that it was going to go viral the way it did. During this time, I believe a year before that, I actually went back to school for cosmetic science. Now there's actually programs to become a cosmetic formulator, and I didn't have that program when I was younger, when I was 22 years old. So now there's actually programs where you get to learn cosmetic science. You get to learn about skin, you get to learn about hair, you get to learn about fragrance science. And so I went and got certified in that. That was like, I don't know, 4 years ago. And then I came out with a brush. And so it was just a lot of things coming at me at once. I had no idea it was going to blow up the way it did. We created a new category in the curly hair brushes. And it's been truly amazing. So it's kind of like these brushes here, these edges right here. A brush has never been created like this before. And I thought that it was going to sell normal, like, like an accessory would sell, but it completely proved me wrong, and it just went crazy, and it got millions and millions of views. We're getting a lot of, podcasts, a lot of articles, a lot of things written about us, and the real drama with this is the dupes. So it's been an amazing brush that hundreds of thousands of people are like, oh my gosh, we love this. This is so innovative. And, we're trying to reach the community. But what has happened to us is there's been dupes. About 4 months into it, we started seeing a lot of dupes. And I honestly got so depressed. I didn't know what to do. Very, very stressful situation for us. And, we've been in and out of lawyer meetings, and we have a plan put in place now. And what we've done is we have a company that has helped us take down over 150,000 links of dupes.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? But there's so much more. I mean, it doesn't stop. Every single day, we have a whole brand protection team on Bounce Curl right now. And I never knew that I would have to hire for something. Never knew. A really big brand, popular brand in the United States actually did the same thing. And, we've been trying to keep in contact with them, trying to work with them and just say, hey, collaborate with us. And, I've been very vocal about it when I've asked people to collaborate with us. Now there are some really big brands trying to collaborate with us. I cannot wait to show you guys. Maybe next.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Some really good industry players for sure. So I'm really excited about that. It has helped me become less stressed. Yeah, I mean, we went from hair care tool, creams and shampoos, to now we're also a tool company. And it's been amazing. It's been a long 10 years, and the journey has just been really incredible.
That's amazing. So I want to back up a little bit, was it your design for the brush? Was it in your head and let's do this? How does that happen? First, walk me through that process.
Yeah.
Why the marketplace needed it?
Okay. So I always reference back to my dental days because I'm a very visual person. I like to see things visually. And when you're studying for dentistry, there's this exam. It's like a perceptual testing where you have to look at your test, and you have to take a piece of paper on that test, and you have to fold it in your head, and you have to imagine what it's going to look like, and that's going to be your answer. So it's like a visual thing. So I'm very visual, and I think about things all the time. I'll be at dinner and I'll think about okay, styling curly hair, or if somebody's finger coiling the hair with the finger, how can I turn that into a tool? How can I do something where it's going to cut down styling time in half? So I love to do my husband's hair. My husband had really long hair, hair right here, and his hair was so thick. He's a man. He's not really putting in that time to do his hair. So I was doing it. And so I got a lot of practice with just kind of doing his hair and just kind of thinking of how can I do this more easily? So his hair would clump every time I would brush it. Then I would have to shake his clumps to separate them. Otherwise his hair would be like stuck to his head. So that's kind of where the idea came. And I was like, you know what, let's just try it. I tried it and it was just amazing. Shortly after the Define Edge Lift brush, we came out with another, a different series on the sides with smaller grooves to create more volume. And we call it the Volume Edge Lift brush. And right now I have 10 other patents waiting for us. So the innovation is here. I love it. I love doing it. I love doing this, but it's all about, you know, visualizing something and just kind of not reinventing the wheel. Like you know, I didn't invent the brush, right? But I invented the edges on the brush. So you got to take something and be like, how could I make this better? How can I make this better to work for, you know, my industry?
That's amazing. Yeah. How do you get to, okay, so you have the idea, like you were a liquid brand before, right? That's fair to say? Like before the brush, you were a liquid brand. So how do you go from dream to like, okay, I want to manufacture this. How do I find a manufacturer? Like, what's that process like? Like, you know, how did you get to a manufacturer? How did you know it was the right manufacturer, or did you have to do it a couple times?
Yeah. Oh gosh, a lot. Oh my God. So when I tell people how long it took me to create the brush, it took me 4 years to create the brush. And the main reason was the manufacturing part. We directly went to China, and there's so many manufacturers out in China. There's so many. So we've interviewed at least 10 of them. And I chose the one that was the most responsive and the one that knew the most English, right? A lot of them cannot really talk to you. They don't understand your ideas, right? So I already had my design written out, and you know, my main biggest tip to tell everybody is, if you have a design, you need to have paperwork. You need to get your lawyer. You need to make sure that you are protected from everybody before somebody steals your idea and takes it and runs with it. So we had them sign paperwork, and we went on to making it. Now, there was at least like 20 different samples that we had to go through before finalizing the final one. And that process right there, it takes a long time, lots of effort. I'm also the product developer for our brand. So that's just what I do. I always have like 30 products in the pipeline that I'm working on, and they won't launch for like, you know, 3, 4, 5 years later on in the road. So yeah, it was all about finding them in China, just Googling. Googling is your best friend. That's what I did. I Googled manufacturers. I really tried my hardest to find a manufacturer here in the United States, and honestly, they don't exist. Brush manufacturers do not exist in the United States, and I found like a paintbrush manufacturer, and they were like, well, we could possibly do it. And I was like, yeah.
Not quite the commitment, right?
Completely different, and very, very expensive out here too. So, you know, the materials that we chose are pretty expensive too. Like, we're using PLA material, which is not like your traditional plastic. It's made from renewable sources like corn or sugarcane. So I wanted the brush to be like, you know, a little bit better than your traditional plastic. So yeah, it was definitely hard sourcing all the materials, figuring it all out, and testing the brush and all the good stuff. But I think we made it. And, you know, I still have a little bit of trouble with manufacturers right now still. I work with a few, and, you know, it's definitely hard, but definitely get lawyered up. That is my main advice. Get lawyered up. Don't tell nobody your secrets, because I've been burned for sure when it comes to that. You know, one of the manufacturers I caught them like making one of the brushes, and I was like, oh no, like, what is this? But yeah, so.
A couple years ago, we had a guy on the podcast, and he's actually, for the lack of a better word, a broker. So he works with many Chinese manufacturers, and then, you know, he then, like, you would be his client, and then he would go out there and represent you. So he's kind of the middleman. He actually lives in China as well, and he speaks. He's American, but he speaks Mandarin and he speaks English, obviously. So he would, he was kind of the broker there. So he would find the manufacturer, and then it would all fall on him, which, I've often thought, like, I mean, I'm sure you have to pay them, so I don't know what that costs. However, you know, it might be a great asset to have too, especially have to someone there. And then, you know, your conversation is with one person who understands what you do, and also he's in the beauty business, so he gets it as well. You know, but yeah, I just thought that was really cool.
It's a great route to go. I did it the hard way. Like I feel like I'm at a point. I was like, they get me, you know, like they understand me, but you know, like I spoke Assyrian as my first language, so English is my second language. But I'm like, I understand the foreign aspect, and they understand me, I understand them, but it was definitely like 3 times harder. So definitely a broker is a really great idea for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was, and they do hot tools and everything. So, you know, and he has all this and he's also like, there's different levels of manufacturing, right? So depending on, you know, what kind of product you want to produce, and he's got all those relationships. So, anyways, I just thought that was an interesting conversation. Gabby?
Yeah. I'm curious because again, you talked about like doing the liquid products for a period of time. If you found any like similarities or differences between like the process of manufacturing your wet line, your wet products, like your shampoo, conditioners, like all of that versus the brush sort of like, you know, it being like you're, you know, it's still you're manufacturing a product, but it's, you know, completely different products, sort of how the process differed in any way.
Yeah, so the processes are very, very different. I would say for liquids, creams, and gels, it's it's a lot of liability that you're responsible for. And you know, as a cosmetic scientist, I test all of our products, so it's a lot of testing, from dermatology testing to toxicology testing. Like I test my products for toxicity. So if somebody were to take the shampoo and put it in their mouth and swallow it, what is the toxic levels of that? You know, I need to know all that. Like you don't have to do that, but we do, because I need all that on paper and make sure that people feel very comfortable with our brand. So it's a lot of liability and it's a lot of moving parts. You have to purchase your liquids and your creams first at a manufacturer. Then you also have to outsource your packaging. So you got to find a manufacturer to do your packaging, whether it's in the United States, Mexico, Europe, or China, wherever your packaging is going to be. You have to make sure that you're ordering inventory for that, and then they have to sync up. Whereas your brush, you're just very easy. You know, we are getting our brushes tested all the time too, and it's for different testing. It's like heavy metals testing and also like hair breakage evaluations and things like that. But it's not nearly as complicated as liquids and creams are. They're very complicated, and you know, the formula takes forever to make. I would definitely say I have more fun creating my brushes. They're easier for sure, but that's my intake on that for sure.
You brought something up that like you have a game plan for like 4 or 5 years. Does that also mean that you have do you have investors as well? Because investors love to see 4 or 5 year plan before they invest money. Do you have investors as well, or is this all like self-funded thus far?
We are self-funded. We're a family-owned business. You know, my family works at our warehouse. My stepdad opens our shop. My husband's with me. My dad works there too. My mom, everybody. You know, we have 30 employees right now. We are definitely growing. Investment is not completely out of the picture. I feel that, you know, once we go into retail, maybe we will need, you know, to look at some investors later on. But to scale the business, you know, I never really understood like why if somebody's successful, why do they need investors? That was my main question. And I've went to the Sephora Accelerate program, and they taught us why somebody would want to have an investor. And it's basically says, okay, your company could be doing great. It could have all the cash flow, everything's great. But let's just say, like, if I'm not super strong in technology, like that's not my background or something, right? Science is my background. If I'm not super strong in technology and I want to heavily advertise, if there's an investment company that is like really heavily into technology, that's who you would want to invest in your company. You know, they would give you $1 million and they get like a percentage or something like that. And then they help you scale your business. You know, they give you things that you don't know, you know. And I would definitely say, you know, building the business is definitely incredibly hard. Employee retention is great with Bounce Curl, but I, you know, didn't really study business like that. So, you know, just growing like the chiefs and, you know, then you need the COO and you need CEO and you need all these fancy terms that I'm like way above my head. You know, I'd rather go do like create a formula in my lab. This is my lab, by the way. Let me show you guys. So this is my favorite thing. This is what I like to do. I don't like to focus on, growing the business. So that's where investors would play a role maybe later on. But right now we are self-funded.
Well, first off, that's extraordinary because I know that's incredibly hard to do. I've got a story for you. I'm friends with Dinah, and she started the Health Aid Kombucha company, and I'm sure you've seen the Health Aid kombuchas. They're everywhere. I think it's the largest kombucha company in the country at the time. But anyways, long story short is this: they started the company, and then they sold out immediately, and they had all these orders, but they had no capital to create more product. So when you were telling your story, it kind of reminded me of that story. That they were so successful they were almost out of business, which is kind of like, it was the first time I was like blown away by like, how can you be so successful that you're out of business, And then it was actually an angel came and saved them, was able to pump a lot of capital in there. And that was just to kind of like, so they could fulfill their next set of orders. And, kombucha doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to process and stuff. But when you were telling your story, it kind of reminded me of her story about like how you can be so successful that you can fail, which again makes no sense.
It's scary. It's so scary. Also, they're in retail, right? Yeah. So retail is a big thing. So that's kind of why we waited. We waited 10 years before we dabbled into retail, because think about it, retail takes, 50 to 60% of your margins, and you have a lot of expenses. People have expenses that they have to pay for, and it becomes too much. So you have all your expenses, then you have the 50 to 60% off that you're giving to the store. Then now what are you making? You're not making anything, So people definitely have to be mindful of where they're headed. I didn't want to directly go into retail because I was terrified of that reason right there.
Of course. Yeah. And products are expensive enough. So, you also have to stay within, some kind of margin there. Otherwise your competitor, undercut you big time. But, I also want to give you another thing, Merian, and do with it what you will. Years ago, one of my clients, her mom invented oh my God, what do we call it?
Like the banana clip?
The banana clip. So she invented the banana clip. Originally it was called the mane clip, MANE. She called it the mane clip because she thought the hair looked like a horse's mane when you pulled it all up on top there. But I'll give you this both as a warning and a whatever, but she spent her entire fortune defending the dupes out there. And I guess at some point you have to ask, where's the value in it? If it's driving you crazy and ruining your day and it's costing you, your entire fortune that hopefully you worked really hard for, I don't know. I'm not saying to quit, but you got to put a value lesson on, how much fight can you put up? How much fight can you put up?
Yeah. Yeah, that's everybody's been telling me that, and it's just different when it's actually your brand and you're going through. I would say I was so depressed that I literally felt like I was having a heart attack one time. So I went to the urgent care and I was like, "Is my heart okay? Because it's skipping beats." Okay, so that's how sad I was in the beginning, and now every time I see a fake, every time I open social media, I see a fake, and I just kind of laugh it off. It's just whatever. I've definitely calmed down a lot more, and mainly why I've calmed down a lot more is because we have this program now, which is really great. And if anybody has a product that they have and you're getting duped, this is so important. I wish somebody told me this. I had to research hard for it. So what happens is it's a lot of Chinese company manufacturers creating your product at a very cheap price, cheaper than what I even get it for. And what they'll do is they'll come into America by Amazon, Temu, Shein. That's what they'll do. And so there's this really, really great opportunity right now that there's these lawyers that their whole job is to grab all the fake links, hundreds of them, take it to court, provide evidence to court and say, hey, these companies are taking our American design. This is our patent. And this is what it looks like. Here's all the links, hundreds of them. You got to do something about it. They're called Schedule A's. The judge will freeze everybody's account, and the seller has a right to defend themselves and kind of communicate with the lawyers. And then the lawyers will take their funds that they made, and the lawyer will keep their money, and then the lawyer will give us some. It's not a lot of money, but it's been it's been helpful kind of paying for our lawyer fees this way. We have paid over 500K just trying to defend ourselves and our patents. And that's a lot of money. You know, we
Yeah.
are indie brand, you know, like we're still small. So it is a lot of money, but that part right there has been very, very helpful for us. And I hope that they don't like end this process, because if you sue somebody in America, it could cost you at least $3 million. Whereas this Schedule A, it's not. It's what's happening is the judge freezes their account, and then and that's what I tell my customers too, is like, hey guys, if you guys are trying to buy the fake product, be careful, because we're constantly doing these TROs, which is like a restraining order on all these brands. And so if you purchased it, you're not going to get it. You know, sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. It just depends on which area, which time frame you're at. But that's been very helpful. There are rules now that are really helping us. And I do want to protect. I also wanted to get into retail. Some of these brands are beating me to retail, which was very, very sad. So we do have continuation patents that we're also filing, which means like, hey, somebody copied your brush on this way. Well, we go and tell the examiner at the USPTO office, and we say, hey, we need to also claim this, or we need to claim this. And we kind of fight a little bit back and forth to get our rights, and then we get it. So that's what's been really happening with us, is we've been getting more and more continuation patents that these dupesters don't know about. And sooner or later, they're going to get a letter from us that'll shut them down. So, I was super stressed out in the beginning because there was like no help. I didn't know what to do. And now I know what to do. So I feel better. But yeah, I have to be very mindful into, not letting this thing make me go bankrupt, like
Yeah, for
I
sure.
spend too much more money on this. Like we have to, figure out a really good plan so that way we're not going broke.
I want to introduce you to my friend Lex. She needs to meet you because she has a product company now, and it's being duped everywhere. So maybe you could like speak in her ear a little bit. Because it's an apparel company. Her apparel company says I do all the hot girls' hair. And they're being duped everywhere. So there's a bunch of these different hats and shirts and stuff around. So I know
that was one of the things I was actually going to mention, not to like jump on your feet, Corey, but I was thinking of Lex the entire time because we chatted with her in Premiere Orlando. That was one of our episodes, and she had, like, again, you mentioned a lot of the similar experiences with the dupes and like seeing them out in the wild. And she actually had an incident right before I think she sat down and recorded with us that she was in the airport, or maybe it was the day before, because if she flew to, whatever, not important, but she was at the airport and encountered someone wearing a dupe and like had her actual merch with her and was like, hey, like, let's, and posted it to social media. And it, obviously garnered a lot of support because people want to support, especially in this industry, like actual like beauty pros and their products, right? Instead of the dupes. And I'm curious if you've had any experiences like that, like seeing someone using the fake out in the wild and being like, hey, use this, or sort of how have you been like from a like consumer perspective, like reaching the people who are potentially like buying those dupes and being like, hey, support the original brand, or sort of what efforts have you been doing in that regard?
So I would love to meet her, and I have like 4 friends that also have the same issue. One of them's a big brand, PopFlex, Blogilates. She has her own workout outfits, and she's duped. So I've been in connection with her. I have another one that does hair rollers, and then another one that does eyelashes, Lashify. They've helped me so much. So I would definitely love to, email her and give her all the stuff that I know. That's what we have to do. We have to share. Like we have to share everything, and it's really frustrating and really hard. But when I see it all over social media. In the beginning, I would comment on people's page like, hey, this is our original patented design, please support the original, things like that. And then I would continuously do it. And then what happened was I started to have our brand kind of save those photos or save those, social media posts and kind of like go after them on the brand protection side. And then a lot of people have really resonated with our story. We do a lot of storytelling. I haven't done one in about a month, but we're due for another one, just kind of updating the brand like, hey guys, like this is what's happening to us. I've I'm a normal human being. This is my very, very first successful super product, right? It's blown everything out of the water. And, I have a family, I have kids, I worry like, okay, am I going to be able to sustain my business until my kids go to college? Like, am I able to save for their college funds? Like, with all these dupes on the market, they're, out, like they're washing our brand, it's kind of like, why would they buy Bounce Curl when there's a dupe for, half the cost or whatever the case may be, So I've been really vocal about our story, and people have really resonated with that. And it's created a community that just kind of, when they see a fake brush, they send it to us, or they comment on their page like, hey, you should be supporting Bounce Curl. Like, don't support this, don't do this. And so that's kind of how our community has helped us out there. But it's all about just kind of storytelling and just telling everybody like how we feel, what is going on. Yeah, that's kind of how
it's funny because, for the last 35 minutes, we've been kind of talking about, the Bounce Curl stuff, but we need to take 2 minutes and like celebrate like the great success that it is. If it wasn't the great success that it is, there is no dupes. Like, nobody cares, So like, big celebration to you and just creating something that the market space needed. And they didn't even know they needed it, but that they needed it. I mean, that's an incredible story. And it's incredible that you were able to kind of bring it to the market space and create this viral type brush. I've used the brush. It's incredible. And I will tell you this too, for anybody that's listening, is that one of my suite mates had a dupe. I don't think they really knew, because that's the thing too. They didn't really know that there's an OG, right? Like, so they had it, but the quality definitely wasn't there. It was definitely like a PVC plastic. It was definitely like there wasn't like what makes the Bounce Curl brush effective, I guess, in the best way, is that it both has the hard bristles and it has the soft bristles inside of it that really smooths the hair. The ones that they had was just more like the old vent brushes, that had the edge, but it didn't work in the same way at all. It didn't smooth the hair. It didn't like make the hair shiny and feel beautiful. So, not all dupes are equal to the Bounce Curl. The Bounce Curl, I actually let them use my brush and they were like, oh yeah, this is different. It doesn't, because the problem with a lot of the dupes, I know I'm talking a lot, but the problem with a lot of the dupes is they just look the same. That doesn't mean they perform the same.
Exactly. And so we've done testing and we're doing more testing right now with the dupes too. So the difference between the Bounce Curl brush is that, one, the bristles, they're laid out in such a way where it's going to define your hair. And then we have vegan boar bristles, and they're cut a certain way to help minimize breakage. Whereas the fake ones, the vegan boar bristles, they can be really create a lot of tension in hair. And if you're not careful with, if you go by the dupe, that could break your hair way quicker, So then we have the other ones, the bristles that are more flexible. And then our pad is also flexible. And then our whole handle is made out of PLA material, which is just better than your traditional plastic, right? And so that's kind of where they're getting it wrong. And they also don't know the layout of our bristles and just the quality of the whole brush. Like, we've bought so many fake dupes, and when we get the box, we smell it and it smells like some crazy toxic chemical. And then when we get our materials at our manufacturer, we have to test it for heavy metals. And I highly doubt that these, fake products are testing for heavy metals. They're not. It's so cheap. So there's a lot that goes into the brush, and we are coming out with brushes that have different bristles. Sometimes we've gotten like feedback like, oh, the bristles, like, we don't like the bristles, we want something different. Like, okay, don't worry, I got you. If you don't like it super intensified bristles, we're going to create something that's a little bit more gentle, but you still have to know how to create the bristles, because it's not going to define your hair. If there's a little bit of bristles, it's just not going to do the job, And so that's where I think some of these dupes are missing the point here. Yeah.
And hairdresser to hairdresser, that anyone that's listening, like, the pad is really nice too, because it's actually removable and cleanable. Unlike a lot of brushes, it's a big hassle to kind of like properly clean your brush. The Bounce Curl makes it very easy to do it. It just like pops out and you can, remove product and remove whatever you need from that. Pick up.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we're giving lots of love to the brushes, but I want to shout out the wet products too, because I've used them. And I've used the brushes as well.
Thank you.
But I know I had an instance where I got my hair colored and for some reason my scalp was like not super happy and was kind of irritated. And I used the Scalp, like
The turmeric one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I used it and I could just immediately see a difference. And even like the clarifying shampoo too. Like and I think it speaks to, I mean, like, obviously you have like a one stellar product, but as a brand to have a whole line of products like the tools,
Yeah.
the wet line, that all of it, right, works really, really well. And it's not
Yeah.
just a brand that has the one standout product and then it's like, okay, here's other stuff we have, but it's a whole line that speaks for itself.
Yeah, so right now we have our 3 different shampoos, different moisture levels, and they all contain naturally derived fragrance in them. So we definitely are a very conscious creation with our formulas, and we have a really great rating on Think Dirty. And then we have 2 conditioners for 2 moisture levels. And then we also have 3 different hair creams for 3 different hair types. We have a leave-in conditioner, a defining cream, and we also have a defining butter. And the butter is for coily or really thick hair. And then after that, we have like our turmeric's hair detox mask, which is so, so good. Like that product doesn't get the hype that it should. And we really, really need to focus on marketing it because it's not a shampoo. It's not a conditioner. It's not like a conditioning mask. It's a product that contains a lot of organic apple cider vinegar and turmeric and a lot of antioxidant ingredients. And what it's going to do is you shampoo your hair, but there's still probably a little bit of buildup left on your hair no matter what, because shampoos, you have to add some conditioning ingredients. Otherwise, it's going to feel really like it's going to strip your hair. So you need to add a little bit of conditioning ingredients. So when you do that, then you're like, okay, well, I need the turmeric hair detox mask to be put all over my hair. And what it's going to do is going to take all that buildup off, and then it's going to seal your cuticle down. It's kind of putting like acidic item on your hair strands, and it's going to seal that cuticle down. And then when you rinse it out, your hair feels like brand new. It is a #1 product that every salon should have. And we are definitely creating more products for that issue too, like chelating products and things like that. And this year we're going to have a huge rebrand. So we're changing our logo. We're going to be coming out with a whole new collection, 6 new items this year. And that's what's really been like blowing my mind. I've been so busy just, trying to make sure that this collection is perfect for everybody. So yeah, we have a lot in stores coming, and what's going to be really special about this rebrand is, I always think about how can we be different? There's so many hair products out there. There's so many founders. There's so many this. I truly believe the reason why Bounce Curl is really special is because I am the cosmetic formulator behind the brand. I do show myself. I show my story. I show my day-to-day on Instagram, and people love that. They trust that. And I wanted to be really, really different this year. And I said, okay, I saw what our patented brush could do, even though people are duping it. What could I do on the hair side? So, I've been working with a very, very, very special person. I'm our silent partner scientist, and we are going to be coming out with ingredients that are patented ingredients only for Bounce Curl. So this is going to be really, really huge. It's a very big stepping stone for us. I don't know any curly hair brands just that only create curly hair products that have their own patented ingredients. We have the Olaplexes, we have the K18s, but they kind of serve every hair texture, right? They straight, everybody. But this is Bounce Curl. It's curly hair. I feel like I haven't seen anybody on the market with their own patented ingredients, so I'm really excited about it.
That's okay. Okay, this just opened up a lot more questions for me, Merian. I apologize, but the brain is firing now. So this is going to be your retail line. So all this will be in the retail line.
It's going to be online first with us, and then next year we'll go into retail.
And now, Are you guys looking? Okay. play devil's advocate for just a sec, because I just wanted to understand a little bit more. You've got this great product that costs X amount of money, you know, online and whatever. You go into retail, that's 50%. So now you're creating this other line. Like, how do you maintain in a cost-effective way to be able to continue to push the boundaries of what hair can do, but also having to stay competitive with, you know, I mean, just the bottom line of what the price is going to be, particularly if you're going into the retail space, you know, and your margins are going to be, I'll assume, are going to be much, much smaller. So, you know, like, you get what I'm trying to say?
Definitely. So, you know, we've navigated the space. We've, you know, talked to our accountants. We've done, you know, planning. It's definitely a lot of planning that you have to do. And you know, I have to be honest, I never wanted to go into retail. I always wanted to be somebody that was selling online and at salons, because that's kind of what we've been doing. That's what I really wanted to do. But a lot of our customers are complaining. They're like, you know, when we want to travel, we want to, you know, go to a store and grab the product, you know, things like that. And so I'm very picky with which retailer we're going to choose, and we're only going with one right now. We're not like, I'm not trying.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. So you're going with a retailer, not with like a hairstylist distribution company. So like you'll end up in like a proper retail store, not just like not distribution through the hair industry. Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that salons would still be able to buy our products. And then we wanted to go into a retailer store. And so the retailer that we chose, it's prestige. The price points are up there. It's not too cheap or anything like that. And so, you know, I want to stay competitive with the people that are in the store, the brands that are in store, you know, kind of same range, you know, same margins. And what we're going to do is we're going to see how this works out. You know, if it doesn't end up working out for us, you know, within 2-3 years, and, you know, I'm not opposed to being like, okay, maybe retail wasn't for us, you know. I'm going to try it out. I hope that it's great. I have really amazing vibes with this retailer that we've been working with. And I'm going to treat it as another channel. So right now we have our D2C, and then we have Amazon, and then we have TikTok. And then now this is going to be another distribution channel. Like, I don't know if it's going to completely take over all of our business and, you know, I don't know if it's going to take all of our customers, or if it's just going to give us more customers from, you know, from their database. So I don't know exactly how it's going to be, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see, but I hope that it works out really well. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you guys, man. I'm really happy for you. Oh, I did have a question. Oh, pick up, Gabby. I forgot my question.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do have a question because I kind of want to bring Yasmin in because I know she's sort of been chilling. And I think one of the things, it feels like we've kind of hit on this at multiple points throughout the conversation, so I want to make sure to like really address it, which is sort of this idea that I feel like we're seeing in the industry of the hairstylist sort of becoming the influencer almost. Like, you see a lot of brands have influencers or different people marketing their products, and we're sort of seeing a shift where the hairstylist, like that authenticity that they have of like, they work with the products, they can speak to how like the quality of it and seeing it being used on their clients and what it does for their clients and everything, right? Like, it's more natural and less like, here's an influencer that's hawking a product because they've been paid to do so, right? It feels like here's someone who's speaking on behalf of the product because they've used it and know the quality of it. And I'm curious, like, as a brand, as you're starting to like build and put yourself out there, like finding the people, like for example, Yasmin, like finding people who can speak to the product and its sort of like value in the market, like why it stands out, you know, and sort of putting the hairstylist first.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my experience is definitely like more behind the chair. I've been working in the salon and all different aspects of the salon for the past 13 years. I've worked with a lot of different brands, and I've worked as an educator. I've worked in sales. So I've really gotten to know the industry in the salon and kind of more in the corporate space as well. What I love about Bounce Curl, I mean, first is the results, right? So the results that you're getting with the product, with the brush, is mind blowing. It really is the best in terms of results, specifically when you're working with textured and curly hair. So that's the first thing, and I think that as a stylist, that's the most important thing for us is we really want to get those results and to help our clients achieve their goals as well. And then in terms of, just working for a company too, I've been really happy. It is,
Yeah. Like, oh no.
Yeah, it's smaller, more tight knit, it's just a more human experience. I've worked with some bigger brands and with some smaller brands as well, which, it's not always the case. So just overall, and I think that with you guys speaking with Merian, I'm really happy that we've been able to do this. So you can really kind of get a sense of her passion behind the brand. And I can really relate to that because I'm so passionate about what I do as well. So yeah, for me, I think that as hairdressers, we kind of are like caretakers in a way where I believe that we're really helping people. So yeah, that's my experience, in the salon and now with Bounce Curl. So
Well,
yeah,
I know. I mean, to add to that, Gab, is that Presley uses the products and she uses it because she likes them. Anyone that's spent more than like 10 minutes with Presley knows that she's not hawking a product unless she absolutely loves it. So she absolutely loves the product. She absolutely loves the brush. And she's done so much content around the product. So I know how she is as far as like what she stands for and what she won't stand for. And that should say volumes there because she would not be promoting a product unless she truly believed in it. And she's been all over y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the things that is really special, is having somebody like Presley promote us because she genuinely, like, she found us. You know what I mean? She did the research, she found us and was just like, yes. And this was even before the creation of the brush. So I think that really speaks to the products as well. The brush is incredible. It's a game changer. Most salons carry the brush at this point, but we really want, there to be more awareness around the products as well because they're just as amazing. So we're so lucky to have somebody like Presley kind of be a spokesperson for us. And it was incredible to see her work with the products and with the brush at the event. So I'm really, really grateful. And I love, all the stylists and salons that were able to see that as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Merian, so you mentioned that you guys are on Amazon. If I go to Amazon, how do I know that I'm buying from Bounce Curl and not like some other hog out there?
Yeah, so our brushes just are on Amazon right now, and if you look at the seller at the top, it'll say Bounce Curl versus like some other Chinese name or something.
some other name there. Some other name there. What? So if the brushes are in the salon, like is there like a discount code for salons that can buy it at like at a retail or less than retail wholesale price and then sell it in the salons?
Yeah, so we definitely have a program for stylists, salons, salon owners, boutique shops, whatever. You would just contact our form and put your information in. I believe they ask you to upload like your certificate, and then or your license, and then you get approved.
That's amazing.
It's super easy. You just go on the website. There's a simple form to fill out. You get in contact with our lovely lady who does wholesale accounts. So it's really, really easy to sign up, and we have all different ways to earn as well. So yeah, super easy and accessible.
So how can people find you? How can people find the product, the space, all the things?
Bouncecurl.com.
That's easy enough.
Yeah.
So all the products are there, and then we can set up a wholesale account there as well, and look at the brushes, look at the innovation, and wait to hear kind of what's happening. I'm excited you guys are continuing to expand, certainly with different SKUs and stuff. Oh, Merian, I did have a question, and I was having a little bit of a panic attack when you were saying it. So you have this product that's like a for the lack of a better word, like a clarifying product with the turmeric in there. Now, listen, I've messed with turmeric a lot, and that stuff stains everything in the world. So like if I'm a blonde, is the turmeric going to stain my hair gold?
Okay, so no, so the thing is, it's actually black. So we have charcoal in there. And so the black overpowers the yellow. So it doesn't show up as yellow, it shows up as black. But we do use
Not in your
it
hair,
on...
though. It doesn't show up as black in your hair, right?
No, it does. So you put it on and it's black. It's like a jelly, black jelly, but it gets removed, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you're blonde, it'll get removed. Like we have a lot of blonde customers that use it, and they've even posted videos about it showing what it does, and it doesn't like stain your hair at all, so you'll be okay.
I've used it, and I have a little bit of blonde in my hair. I feel like it's kind of more coppery because I've played around with the color, but I definitely have some blonde and like blonde highlights, and I have that in my hair. And I decided I used it, and like the top of my scalp, like it was flaky from whatever color service I got done in my roots, and I was like, immediately I had the turmeric had the scalp, and I just went, put it everywhere, did the whole thing, and yeah, it was like a blackish, like almost like maybe there was a little bit of green, I don't know, but like it worked so well, and I could feel it tingling a little bit on my scalp, but I was like, I knew it's working, it felt good. And then rinsed it out, came out all nice and easy, and I could feel my hair felt softer too. Like I was like, this is doing exactly what it's supposed to, and cleared up my scalp like that. Like I wasn't having the big chunky flakes that I had from the color, like whatever reaction I had. It just worked so well. So
I am blonde, and in addition to being a curl specialist, I also specialize in blonding. That's like the first product I use on every single client. When you're working with blonde, I actually like to use it to remove any buildup or hard minerals that can kind of dull the color. So it's actually an amazing product to help brighten your color.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. We really need to step up our marketing game and start promoting the heck out of it, because it's just that good. So good.
Put it in my beard?
You can. It's really good for your skin too, like hard to reach areas, because it has like the nozzle, and you can put it in there and it'll like help calm like your inflammation in your skin down.
Oh, okay. Yasmin, you're gonna have to send me some of that stuff. I'm gonna play with it. I'm gonna have a yellow beard here, or a black beard for a little bit. Gabby, what were you saying? I'm sorry, I walked on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like down to my last little bit, but I do love it. It's really good. But I was gonna say also it's Hair Loss Awareness Month. August is Hair Loss Awareness Month, and healthy hair starts at the scalp. So it's a good time to be giving love to that product. So that was just the little nod and add in there.
Merian,
I think it also speaks to all of us, like that Corey and I have used the products or the brushes, whatever, and can attest to it, right? Like that's that natural sort of love, right? Anyway,
Merian, you were saying that that you've been telling your story online. What's your Instagram so we can follow along?
So our business page is Bounce Curl, and then my personal page is Herbal Mo, MMO, Herbal MMO. MMO, Mo is my initials, Merian, and my last name is Odisho. So people call me Mo.
People call you Mo. I like Mo. My favorite cousin is called Mo. Is named Mo. That's a whole other story. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us and making the time with us. And, thank you for, thank you for the innovation. Like I said, it was amazing to kind of watch. I know, like, this is going to sound weird, but I know, like, when we first started talking, Yasmin, and then to see, like, what you guys, I'm talking follower count, like, I hate to do it, but, where you guys were. And then you had the brush. And like your follower count just exploded after the brush there. You're like, holy cow. Like it's really cool. And I'm definitely one that celebrates the industry. So like just to see like the attention that the brush got, the attention that you guys got and all that was like, that was a lot of fun for me. I could live vicariously through like, okay, somebody's doing something right, and that always makes you really proud. So, A, thank you for that. And B, that was just really, really freaking cool.
Thank you. It's definitely my passion. For sure. I can't wait to show you guys everything coming soon.
Coming soon. Well, we'll definitely hit us up and give us a chance to chat about it as well. All the new stuff. Once again, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thank you very, very much for joining us on your.
Thanks.
Thank you.